All right, we got 5 on the clock, and today we're talking about what I used to do for work, because what I used to do for work is actually kind of interesting with what's going on in today's times. So I did 14 years of being Marine infantry. I did 4 years of that in the reserves. So I enlisted, I went to boot camp, I went to School of Infantry, I did those courses, graduated decently, came out and went to my reserve site on the West Coast, learned from a bunch of guys that had been from the fleet, and this was 2006, so lots of combat was happening right then. My reserve site got activated a couple times, but never actually deployed until 2009 or 2010. I think 2010. Why that's important is because during the same time frame, I was going through what was called platoon leaders course. So I was going to school right next to my reserve site at a university. I was working on my 4-year degree, and there were some things that were going on that made me go, you know what, I could be an officer looking at what the leadership is, right? So I was like, I'm going to try this. So I volunteered. I went to OCS. I went through Platoon Leaders Course Juniors, came back, had some really messed up stuff with my shoulder, and decided to go get that fixed. Thank you, Marine Corps. Shoulder surgery. And then I had Platoon Leaders Senior in 2009, I want to say. And like, there were moments that challenged me, but like, for the most part, like, that was just know how to be a good follower and show potential for leadership and don't be a bad person. I mean, that's really what I thought it was, right? Boot camp was just show that you can follow and obey, instant obedience to orders. The easiest way through boot camp, honestly, was just shut up and grind, and the easiest way was just be done at the end of 13 weeks. Everything else just didn't matter. And it was really funny because it was just like chow to chow, Sunday to Sunday, you were done, right? You just focused on the light at the end of the tunnel, and you just had incremental lights. And that philosophy actually got me through really well, like mental health wise, like it was pretty cake. You knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Then I went to the basic school in 2011 and decided, you know what, I really like this infantry thing. Somehow managed to get infantry, and then I was commissioned second lieutenant and getting some infantry time. Completely different. And being the reservist, being enlisted, and just I screwed it up, like with my first platoon. 100%. I screwed it up. I've seen some people be rock stars and absolutely nail it right out of the gate. In fact, one of the guys that I dropped in with as a second lieutenant, phenomenal. Actually, a lot of them were phenomenal. This dude, though, just takes the cake. Still a phenomenal Marine officer. Great leader. Very, very down to earth. Like, most people would follow this guy. I really appreciated being around him because even though he was my peer, man, I was learning from him. So from there, I did another couple years with the infantry, but this time at a schoolhouse setting. That was interesting. That was fun. I was trying to start, like, I was starting to show some wear and tear. I had some things really, really messed up with me at that point in time. I couldn't run again. Like, we have a physical fitness test, which is a 3-mile run, and I could get it out, but my times weren't good. And I could do the combat fitness test because, well, it was a joke. But yeah, like, man, I was showing some wear and tear. But at the schoolhouse, there was actually physical therapy and chiropractic and all this other stuff, and that got me back on my feet, up and running. I went and did some company command time. I went and was a liaison officer with a couple different units. Absolutely phenomenal time in my career was being a liaison officer. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, being an L&O is like you're complete garbage and you're just there to communicate. You know what? Maybe, but it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And came back, and then I decided to make a change to cybersecurity. But really, I want to see how fast I can get through what I've done in my past. That's it. 5 minutes. So I'll see you next time.